Hey guys, it's Izzy from Endless RVing, the channel that brings you the best in RV DIYs, product reviews, RV tours, and so much more. If you're new to the channel, we invite you to subscribe below and hit the notification bell. And if you're a subscriber, we welcome you back. Well, today we are super excited. We had the opportunity to sit down and interview the grandson of Mahlon Miller. Who is Mahlon Miller? Well, he is the guy who put Newmar Motorhomes on the map. During this interview, we talk about things that you can't read online, information that only family members would know. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. As everybody knows, as our subscribers know, we are big fans of Newmar. We actually own a Newmar.
And love it.
And love it. And we have a very special guest on today who may have a little bit more insight in Newmar than we do. So we have with us Theodore Hochstetler. And Theodore, say hi to the Endless RVing crew out there.
Hey guys, glad to be on. Honored very much. Love your channel, and I've actually learned a lot of stuff from DIY videos you do and stuff. I love it. Keep doing it.
Nice. So
Thank you.
just a little background. Theodore is one of our subscribers, and
He also is one of our $100 gift card recipients from one of our contests.
yes.
That was sweet.
So Theodore, how old are you, Theodore? You look young.
22.
Okay. So
Oh, baby.
at 22. At 22 years old, Theodore has a lot of knowledge regarding
Yes.
Newmar. And Theodore, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
So, for those of you that don't know, my grandpa is Mahlon Miller, who used to own Newmar not that long ago. And just a little background, my grandpa, Mahlon, was born in Ohio in 39, and he was born Amish. And my grandma was born here, where we live now, and they met in Phoenix, and they got married and moved here. And I'm glad that they moved here and didn't go to Ohio, because that would have been a totally different life. And they left the Amish. My mom was 3 years old when they left the Amish, so I'm not sure exactly when that was, but he was already working for Holiday Rambler at the time, and just on the line. And then he worked his way up all the way till he was president of the RV division of Holiday Rambler. And then in 1985, he bought 51% of Newmar. So he didn't start Newmar. Some people think he started Newmar, but he didn't. It actually started in 68. And then he bought 51% in 85, and it was struggling at the time, and he kind of took over, and I left Holiday Rambler, and the guy that owned Holiday Rambler wasn't very excited of leaving, because my grandpa is a pretty cool guy, and he knows a lot about the RV industry. And so just a little bit about our family. My grandpa has 7 kids. We're a pretty big family. And there's 36 grandchildren and 13 great-grandchildren already.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Yep. And we all, except for like one aunt and uncle, we all live within 15 miles of each other here in Indiana.
Nice.
So you guys must be going nuts right now with not being able to get together. You must have awesome family parties, huh?
We do during the summer when my grandparents aren't in Phoenix, they're here. Every Sunday night we go over to their house and have a party there. Most of us, not everyone's there every time, but yeah, we still hang out a lot.
That's
Every
great.
Sunday night. Newmar started back in 68. Do you know anything about the history like back then? Was it just like always motorhome? I know they did fifth wheels, but was there anything else that they ever did?
So before my grandpa got there, there was never any motorhomes. So it was just fifth wheels and travel trailers. And the fifth wheels is what put them on the map. Like I think it was a Mountain Air fifth wheel was their best seller, and that's what they were known for at the time. And then when my grandpa bought it, the next year he started introducing motorhomes. So that's the first time there was a motorhome in the 80s.
Okay,
Thank
so
God.
the first Newmar motorhome was what, 86, 87 or so?
Yeah, so yep.
Nice.
Wow, okay.
Very nice. So we're dying to know this. How was it growing up in the Newmar family?
Well, it was pretty cool for sure. So definitely a lot of trips. So like I wasn't alive for the big trips. Like they did I think the first one was a 6-week West trip with I think 4 or 5 homes. And then the next one was I want to say 9-week trip to Alaska. It was like the whole summer
Nice.
with 6 motorhomes. And so that was definitely a perk having motorhomes. And we used to, before 2008, we used to go to Canada up in Ontario. The whole family, once a year over July 4th, we go up to Canada. And then now we go to Minnesota instead of Canada, but we still do that. So there are a lot of camping, a lot of traveling. Yeah, it was fun.
Now on the road, would they have to ride in order? You know, the King Airs first, and then would they be in order? There was no such thing.
No, my grandpa or my one uncle would normally take the lead, but there was
Okay.
no set order. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when you guys travel, and this is kind of off track what we're talking about, so are you guys like dry camping type or full hookup? Like, what's the deal? Like, how does that work?
So if we're going to like Canada, say, it's definitely dry, so we wouldn't stop at a campground. We would just stop at, I think they did like one night at a Walmart, and the next night was like in a parking lot in Canada. But as far as like the west trip, then they would stop at campgrounds. I think they might have dry camp maybe one night, but you got to refuel and fill up water and all that stuff. So it was more campground stuff. Yeah.
So, what are some of the innovations that your grandfather brought to Newmar, and Newmar in general has brought to the RV industry?
Okay, so I would say the biggest thing, let me get my notes here. The biggest thing that Newmar did was slide outs. So Newmar was the first one to put a slide out in a fifth wheel, actually. And
That's cool.
they were also the first one to put a slide out in a motorhome. And that was in the early 90s. I just talked to my grandpa the other night. He told me the story. So he wanted to put a slide out in a motorhome in the early 90s, and his engineer told him, no, there's no way. It's going to rattle. Dust is going to come in. It's not going to travel nice. There's no way it's going to work. So he told him, fine, let's go grab a fifth wheel with a slide out in it, and we'll sit in the back and tell the driver to go on the roughest gravel road you can find and just go as fast as he can, think safely. So they were sitting in the back there, and he went on this rough road, and it was quiet. The slide out was tight. There was no dust coming in, and the engineer said, well, maybe it is possible. So in the Louisville show in 91 is when they came out with the slide out, the first one, and they were the only ones with a slide out in a motorhome for 3 years.
Wow.
And then the other manufacturers started picking up on it. But that was, my grandpa said, that's really what put Newmar on the map and boosted it, was those 3 years of being ahead of the curve on slide outs.
And now the cog design, that Newmar's, that simple cog design, is that something your grandfather came up with?
Yes, yep, that's his design too. And I know you don't like the carpet in the motorhome.
Hate it.
I guess you watched our video.
Yes, but so my grandpa invented flat floor slide outs too. So before he did that, slide outs just went straight out, and then there was a bump out where you would, so if you had a couch there, it wasn't that big a deal, but if you had a dinette, then you had to bump like 2 or 3 inches. So he went to Newmar one Saturday morning with my youngest uncle, and he told him, run the slide out in and out, and I'm going to try to see if I can figure this out. So they were there for a while, and he said, I got it. And so he cut some steel pipe and gave it to his engineer, and that's how they came out with the flat floor slide out, and that was the first one of that kind too.
So can you talk a little bit about how Newmar has grown since its inception in terms of employees and production and things like that?
So Newmar started, this is kind of an interesting little tidbit. It was started by, let me get the names right here. It was Marvin Miller and Marvin Newcomer. And so the name Newmar comes from newcomer and Marvin, Newmar. So that's where that name comes from. And as far as employees, I asked my grandpa how many there were when he bought it, and he didn't know the exact number. He just said there were very few. And they were making about 20 units a day at that time, which sounds like a lot, but all they were making is like fifth wheels and travel trailers. They weren't making any motorhomes, and they were a lot simpler than they are today. As far as like electronics and all that stuff, it was a whole different ball game. So now there's over 900 employees at Newmar, and they're making 12 units a day max. So that goes up and down. But they're I don't have like the specific buildings as that has been built, but Newmar, the campus has grown immensely since he took over in '85. Like it's a whole different ball game. And yeah, he did a really good job as far as innovating and growing it. Yeah.
Well, when we were in the factory, we did the factory
Oh, it's
tour. Oh, it
unbelievable.
was a well-oiled machine. Oh my gosh, it was amazing to
Those
watch.
guys
The
work like
workmanship.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It
I
was
was like, oh my
very
God, this is a
impressive.
long work day here.
Yeah.
That's one thing that has helped Newmar is like the Amish work ethic and mentality. It's just insane. I don't know how you could do this in another place where, like down south, they're a little more laid back. You couldn't have a factory like that down south.
Right.
In my
Right.
Yeah, we haven't been to the Tiffin Factory, right?
No, our plan
We
is
do
to
want to go
go
there,
next year, maybe just to see.
but I heard they're different in
Mhm.
like how they run. So I'm just curious how,
Yeah.
how it runs.
Right. I mean, when the break bell went, boom, everybody went. They took their 10 or 15 minutes or whatever, bell, boom, right back to work. There was no
Yeah.
hesitation.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was impressive.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Did you ever work in those factories? Did you ever have a chance to like tour those factories when you were younger?
Yeah. So I've toured them before. None of the grandchildren have worked on the line or anything. There's only one grandchild there, and it's Matthew, the president. It's his daughter, but none of the kids, as far as or grandkids, have worked there.
So what has been Newmar's philosophy in terms of like customers, building RVs, etc.?
So I would say the two biggest things would be quality and service.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm sure you guys know about the quality as far as it's not a Prevo where it's all custom built, but as far as a production coach, I would say well, I'm a little biased, but I would say it's the best one.
Uh-huh.
They do a good job. The Amish people there do a really good job in quality and stuff, and there's a good quality inspection that goes on at Newmar. And then I would say another huge thing is service. So as you saw at the service center, they spend a lot of money on that service center and just about the customers, and that's what it's all about because most of the customers are older people. Well, it's shifting. Demographics are shifting now, but older people, and they usually don't have a lot of patience. So you need to be really careful with your service and do a good job. And I think they do a really good job.
So just touching on that, yes, that service center is the best one we've
Phenomenal.
seen.
Phenomenal.
So, I guess the people at Newmar could have, the executives could have pumped that money into production, right? And pump out more coaches because that is not a cheap place. It doesn't,
No.
it's like
And
so clean.
everything about it when we stayed there was top notch. The way you were treated and the sticking to the scheduling and the quality of the work and everything.
Just a mere fact that had like 50 something full hookup or
Right,
60 something full hookup sites was
beautiful.
really impressive.
Yeah.
And yes, as far as people being older, when we went there, we were like pretty
Definitely
much like
the
kids of
youngest,
most of these people.
We were like your age.
Yeah,
there.
it was definitely an older crowd for sure.
Yeah, we met a lot of nice people there too.
Yes.
It was really a great experience.
And I would imagine that when you have that kind of reputation, you probably get a lot of repeat customers. Like it's going to go from the gassers, and then they're going to keep growing, as they go.
Well,
so.
we're already talking about what's going to be our next Newmar.
Good, I love it.
So growing up in the Newmar family, we were dying to know this. Do people give each other Newmars as gifts? Is that what you do?
Not quite. So pre 2008 economic, all of the aunts and uncles they all got a demo unit. So they would have it for 3 or 4 years and then trade it in on a new demo unit. So it wasn't theirs,
right?
But use it.
Nice.
So, and the cool thing about that is try out new things all the time on those demo units. And then if they work, they put them in the production units. If they don't, they don't do it. So it's pretty neat. And that was fun growing up was, having new stuff and new motor, which I didn't really realize how lucky we were until it was like gone in 2008.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. So in 2008, Newmar needed a lot of money, so they sold all the demo units, got rid of all our motorhomes, and then my grandpa pumped a lot of money into it. He had a farm. He sold a lot of land and all his farm equipment, put that all into Newmar just to keep it afloat. And so that was pretty tough on our family as far as like we were like eating rice and beans every day. We
Wow.
like
We'd
canceled
like
our
that.
I eat that every day now, just because I like it.
we like even canceled our newspaper subscription. We were like tightening down like crazy, and it was really hard on my grandpa. He was under so much stress. Yeah, it was. He aged a lot during that time because just all the stress of all his employees and stuff. And yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
But Newmar was one of the few companies that got through it.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot
for
of
Well,
sure.
one of
companies
the
went
best.
under. A lot of
Right.
good RV companies
Right,
went
right.
under.
It's so
Mhm.
funny because you're talking about, as a kid, this is what you're playing with. When I was a kid, I was playing with my Barbie camper. That's what and I was excited about that. That must have been
That's
so
cool.
awesome growing up in that.
That's pretty cool. You guys got to essentially beta test all
Yeah.
the new stuff. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really cool. So like nowadays there's in my family there's 13, I think I have that right, 13 motorhomes or units, and 2 of them are not Newmars, but all the others are Newmar, and those are all owned by us. Those aren't, which obviously Newmar is gone now, but those were after 2008 they stopped doing demos just to save money.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
So, but the 2 that aren't Newmars, the one is an old Holiday Rambler camper that it's like 60s. So my grandpa would have been working at the factory when this thing was built. So that's why my one cousin is that. And then the other non-Newmar is a mini home because Newmar doesn't make any mini
Right.
homes. So
Mhm.
Right. So your personal, what is your favorite Newmar model, and what is your overall favorite RV? Like, if you had the genie, what would be your RV of choice?
So my favorite Newmar model is the early 2000s London Air. That's the first motorhome I remember having, my parents having, and it's the first time that Newmar went to like a bus front end, which my grandpa fought very much. He did not like the bus front end, which nowadays he doesn't mind it, but he liked the old style where it's like slopes down. But that's probably my favorite Newmar one. I think they look pretty cool. And then if I could choose any RV, it would probably be a Newell. I love Newells. I think they're
Yes, they are.
amazing.
We were
Yeah.
on one at the Tampa RV show. Gorgeous.
So nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So the London Air, that London Air that I've seen floating around on YouTube, is that your London Air? The
So
07,
yeah, it's an 05 actually.
05.
That was my parents' last demo unit before 2008. So we found that thing again and got it just for sentimental. We got a good deal on it, and yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. That thing has some stuff that other motorhomes don't.
So now that Winnebago has acquired Newmar, what is your opinion on the future of Newmar?
So I think it's a really good outlook. So I think, like our family, the reason that, which I was not part of this decision, but the reason our parents decided to sell Newmar was because they knew that there wasn't going to be a third generation to take it over. So what's the point of going on with it? Might as well get rid of it. And it wasn't my uncle Matthew's president. He's still going to be president for a while, and we just, yeah, no one was going to take it over. I'm glad that we sold it while my grandparents are still alive, because it would have been really hard to let go of it after they'd be gone. So that all worked out, and it was all mutual. All of our parents wanted to sell it and stuff. So, but as far as the outlook, I think it looks really good because Winnebago has a lot more resources and knowledge to grow Newmar and stuff like that. I think the service is going to improve because there can be a bigger network across America. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it'll be good for them.
Good. Yeah, we are too.
Yeah, we were kind of, when the news broke, it was a surprise to everyone. There's a
shocking.
lot of angry people and whatever, but we both
Yep.
kind of said, like, it may be a good thing. I mean,
Well,
Winnebago
Winnebago's-
is a huge company with a lot of cash flow, and I would think, and I could be wrong, that Winnebago went after Newmar because they couldn't sell those high-end coaches like Newmar could, right?
Yeah,
So why would
yeah.
you mess with something that's not broken?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
kind of makes sense, right? So just let them do their thing. Let's improve on it, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what the years ahead have to
Yeah.
hold.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Yep. So like Winnebago acquired Grand Design a couple years ago,
Yes.
and they pretty much I know some people that work there. They pretty much let them keep doing what they're doing, and because they're doing it right, obviously. So they didn't change a bunch of things like other companies might have.
That's
So
good.
that's encouraging.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And obviously Newmar knows how to do things, right? So hopefully they'll do the
Yeah,
same thing
exactly.
with them.
Yeah, and Grand Design is just like one of the hottest,
Yeah.
you know, towables out there now. Everybody
Yeah.
talks about
Yeah.
how great Grand Design is. So
Right.
very cool.
Yeah.
So, do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I do. When are you guys gonna upgrade to a diesel?
Oh, well, that's
Well, we would
be a
do
little
it
bit of
tomorrow if we could.
but there's a couple of factors, okay? A couple of factors why we went to gas, and you probably heard this if you listened to the
Let
videos.
me just talk. Let's just say this is like a daily conversation in our
Yes,
house, by the
it
way.
So, I mean, one of the big reasons we decided on gas was our use right now. We are literally part-timers. We're full-time workers. We don't have these extensive, you know, our longest trip was what, 15 days? Now, we used the motorhome a lot. We were using a lot till this hit. But the maintenance cost, the initial cost, you know, a lot of that maintenance I could do myself now. I don't think it's so much with the diesel. It's even more so the cost of just the materials. The second thing is where we live, I think 40 foot would be the max. I don't think we
That
can
would
get
be
anything
pushing
bigger
it,
up here.
The road coming to we live on a private road and it's very tight. And we, you know, we're just kind of getting in with our 37 footer. So, you know, our plan is Izzy retires in a little over 5 years. And then we're going to, you know, Jason will be in college and that's when we're going to start really hitting the road. We're never going to be, we decided after this COVID-19, we're never going to be full timers. We're probably going to be most timers, right? So we'll have a sticks and bricks somewhere and we will take our motorhome on the road most of the time. That is probably when we will upgrade. I mean, like I said, we would do it tomorrow if we could, but 5 years and well, you know, we've only had this for a year. So we're going to enjoy this for the next 5. At least that's what we're saying today. and then definitely going to upgrade.
But I'm sure that whatever diesel we get will have a tag axle.
Yeah.
And now that Newmar's into the Super Cs, I'm like, oh
that's
my God,
another thing. Now we're like, because we were so, you know, we were looking at a Ventana, but that's Supreme Air is just wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh
my
man.
parents got to demo one of those before Newmar sold, and those things are sweet.
Oh my God, it was beautiful, beautiful. I know you're giving up some space, of course, but in terms of safety and towing capacity, wow.
Yeah, those
so
things
beautiful.
Are cool.
Yeah, it's not just like a truck with an ugly interior. Like it's a truck with this gorgeous interior. You know, it's beautiful. So who knows what we're gonna wind up with.
Is Newmar open again? They're back producing? They're back open?
So I'm not sure exactly if they're going full swing. I think they are, but yeah, they have some precautions in place. Like they take your temperature before you go in, and I think you have to wear a mask on the line. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're going again.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was upsetting to hear that a lot of them were shutting down, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of expected, but still sad, you know. So it's good to hear it's picking up again.
Thank you, Theodore, for coming in and asking us all these questions, answering our questions and asking us questions.
Yeah, this was great. It was so nice to talk to you. So this is like one more step towards meeting, right? We've been messaging, now we talk, and now next time we'll meet face to face.
Thank you so much, Theodore and family, for allowing us this exclusive interview and getting the information that only you could provide. If you know anybody that has a Newmar, that's interested in Newmar history, or is just an RV aficionado and they want to know so much history about it, feel free to share this video with them. Also, in the comment section below, let us know what you thought of the interview, or if you have any questions for Theodore. He's always been, you know, he's been quite gracious to the channel. So for myself and MJ, we thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the road.